buenos días. ¿Cómo están? A toda la gente que por ahí nos puede observar a través de nuestras transmisiones en Quepachanga Radio. Vamos a comenzar pues esta transmisión para escuchar el comunicado de prensa que tiene acerca del Census 2020 aquí en los Estados Unidos.
And that figure cost Maryland $1 billion. So what we hope to accomplish this time is to close that gap, to get everybody counted across the state. And actually AOP is committed to doing it across the country. So we're excited you're here today to help us get that message out. For those of you that got this packet, I just wanted to go through this packet real quickly with you. On the right-hand side in the back is these programs that AOP has said are very important to senior citizens that are based on the census. So that's the beginning of the program, there's more. And then there's a press release. AOP does major study released in the end of February. And the study showed there's a lot of concern about the census among people. 70% of the population aren't aware of the census and what's going to be involved. So that's one reason we're here today, to make people aware of the census and the potential for scamming or fraud. And we're really fortunate to have Attorney General with us today. And then these other two forms are this is the $16 billion in aid that Maryland gets based on the Georgetown study. Every state in the country has one of these forms, so it's really important. And then the Maryland State Department of Planning numbers on the undercount. So this is an important meeting for us to get the word out across the state and across the country. We're fortunate to have two really great representatives today. Tom Coogan with the U.S. Office of Census, he's going to go first, and then a great Attorney General is going to go second. So let me start with you, Tom. Thank you.
Good morning. Thanks, Jim, for actually inviting us. And on behalf of our regional director of the Philadelphia region, Fernando Armstrong, who could not be with us today, thanks to Maryland State AARP, Jim Campbell, for inviting us to discuss this important, serious topic as far as scams. I first want to share that the U.S. Census Bureau is committed to making the 2020 census quick, easy, and safe for all. And please know that the Census Bureau will not send an unsolicited email, ask for your social security number, ask for your bank account, credit card numbers, donations, or money at all. The Census Bureau will not contact anyone on behalf of a political party, as the agency is a non-political, non-partisan agency. So, a quick note about the 2020 census. This week, as Jim alluded to, mailings will be dropping into the post office. Those are invitations. There will be a total of 5 mailings starting this week through late April. The first one would be basically an invitation to go online to complete your census. Each address has an identifier number, which makes it, once you log on to the website, makes it a lot easier to go through the online piece. It takes about 10 minutes to get that done. So it's the first time ever that we're doing online, and also by phone. And as well as the paper form for some of us AARP members, which I can proudly say that I'm now a member of, who remember the paper form. Those will be coming out as well later on in April. Okay. Now, starting in mid-May, census workers will begin visiting addresses for those addresses who had not responded at that point. So, a question that folks really would need to know is, what will a census worker look like? They should have a black bag with the census logo on that bag. They'll have a census badge with a photo, name, and an expiration So they'll have that, and in addition, they will conduct the census on a smartphone. Many of us who would remember 10 years ago, you might have a large book, piece of paper, notepad, binder. It's all done on a smartphone. So, in addition, that's what a census worker would look like. So in addition, the Census Bureau is committed to work with the community in helping to identify possible scams. The Public Information Office at the Census Bureau consistently follows up on leads and contacting those who intend to misinform the public. That office has a department that continually monitors social media sites for that type of misinformation. Some of there at one point in time there was I guess someone posing, calling themselves the Department of Home Affairs, going door to door and trying to contact people to get their ID to that nature. So these sort of things are not should not be put up with in our community. There is an 800 number in order to verify employees in the order to report scams. It's an 800-923-8282. There's also a rumor control type department in the Census Bureau, rumors at census.gov, to squelch some of the continuing rumors that are still out there about things such as the citizenship question. Does everyone count? And our sharing of information. And as folks should know, that information due to Title 13, census employees are sworn by Title 13 not to share any information at all. There are stiff penalties for that. There's also, I would encourage folks to go online if there's a question at all as far as, is this a scam? Is this truly the census? To go into the Census Bureau website. The Census Bureau website does have things such as a staff search. You can actually type someone's name in to see if that person is actually an employee of the Census Bureau. And lastly, for our folks, if all else, if our community feels that something's not right, by all means, contact the employees. I think those are important things to keep in mind. Like I say, we do work continually to stop misinformation to our various departments in the Census Bureau. So with that, I'd like to pass that on to the Attorney General. Oh, you will? Okay. Me first. Go. Thank you.
Now I'm going to take honor of introducing Brian. I have the pleasure of working in his office on the timeline about scams and laws and things like that. And his office does an outstanding job on that. And I guess one of the things I've learned since being with ARP is that last year there was $3 billion annual. Americans lose $3 billion annually because of fraud, and need strong actions to deal with that. And the majority of these criminals pretend to be from government agencies. It's either the Internal Revenue Service, Social Security Administration, or Health and Human Services. So you know they're going to take advantage of the census. They're going to try to find a way to take advantage of the census. So we need strong action in making sure that this massive operation, people are abused by it. So it's really an honor to introduce the great Attorney General, Brian Caution.
Well, first, thanks to Tom and the Census folks for being here, for doing this good work, and special thanks to AARP for hosting this, and to Jim Campbell in particular. Jim and I served in the House of Delegates together, and we volunteers in our office in his retirement. And he does exactly what we're here to talk about. He's part of our mediation unit. We get about 40,000 calls a year from people who feel they've been mishandled, cheated, defrauded, and we are able to return $10 to $15 million a year to consumers through the work of billions of dollars based on how many people report residing in the state. And we get money for roads, schools, healthcare, you name it. We also get in our congressional representation is dependent upon the number of people who reside in our state, citizens, non-citizens. And it is extremely important for a representation in Congress, for aid that we get from the federal government, that everybody do his or her duty and report to the census that they're living in our state. As I said a minute ago, a big part of our mission is to prevent Marylanders from being ripped off, defrauded, scammed. And the census presents a wonderful opportunity for people who are trying to steal your money or steal your identity. The decennial census happens just once every 10 years, and the scams that we anticipate that people will face will affect those who are new to the census, but folks who've responded to it many times before. Tom said this, but let me reiterate. The census will ask you how many people live in your home. What kind of a home is it? Is it an apartment? Is it a single-family home? They'll ask for your telephone number. They'll ask for your age, name, date of birth, gender, ethnicity for each person who lives in the home, and they'll ask for the relationships of the people who live in the home. But it will not ask you whether you're a citizen of the United States. Our office was involved in the litigation that prevented that from happening. We thought it would be very destructive to the response that the census will receive from citizens in Maryland and around the country. And the census, the folks who are coming to your door, will not ask you if you're a citizen. They will not ask for your social security number. They will not ask for money or donations of any kind. They won't ask for anything on behalf of a political party. They won't ask for your bank account number, your credit card number, your personal schedule when you leave for work. The census will almost exclusively contact you by mail, only followed up by a personal visit if you don't respond to the multiple mailings that Tom mentioned that you'll get. An unsolicited email that purports to come from the census, don't respond to it. Do not reply. Don't open it. Just delete it. The official census mail has a return address in Jeffersonville, Indiana. If it comes from somewhere else, it's a scam. Don't trust your caller ID. If you get a call that says U.S. Census Bureau, scammers can easily...
Bueno, por ahí estamos escuchando un poquito de lo que puede pasar cuando hay personas que estarían tratando de hacer un fraude con su información, así que mucha atención.
At the Census Bureau, you can call them directly. The number is 800-923-8282. And as Tom mentioned, the census takers who are coming to your door wear an ID. It's got their picture on it. It's got a U.S. Department of Commerce watermark, an expiration date. They should have a copy of the official census letter that you received from the Census Bureau. So you can identify folks easily by those items. If someone comes to your door and you're suspicious, you're concerned, all you have to do is call the Census Bureau, 800-923-8282. And if the person on the phone says, oh yeah, that person's legitimate, they are. If they say they're not, then close the door, you can call the police, do whatever you think appropriate. If at any point you question victim of a scam related to the census or otherwise, you can call our consumer hotline, and that number is 410-528-8662. 410-528-8662. Someone like Jim or one of our other folks who help people who've been defrauded will get on the phone, we'll help you, meet with you in person. We'll do everything we can to make sure that your identity, that your money is safe. So again, thanks very much to the AARP, to the Census. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Brian. I just want to emphasize that the AARP did this national study last February. It was published. It said about 35% of the people surveyed weren't sure what a census scam would be and weren't sure that they weren't supposed to give their social security number. So the reason we're doing this today is make sure people know that they're not going to, the census is not going to ask for social security numbers, driver's license, things like that. So please make that message clear. But the other message we want to make clear also is it's really important to participate in the census. Maryland needs it, the country needs it. It's important to planning, it's important to government and our way of life. So we're encouraging all people to really do the census. If there's concerns about fraud, you've been given some numbers. AARP has a fraud hotline, and that number is, AARP fraud hotline is 877-908-3367. They have a very active group working on census-related fraud, so I would encourage people if they have questions to call the AARP fraud hotline at 877-908-3367. So now we thought we'd take questions with Brian and Tom if you want to come up here. Anybody have any questions?
I have a question. Tom, I know you mentioned that this is the first time ever that the census is being done online and by phone, but I know John mentioned there's no email. Can you clarify, do you mean the website? Can you say online?
Online would be the...
Can you go right to the microphones for us?
Okay, yeah. Online would be the invitation for the website. The invitation will have that website on there. Folks log into that, and they either use their identification for that address, or they don't really need to. They proceed to go through that census online. There's no email involved. There's no email invitation. That's all by directly.
So that you're mailed an invitation.
Your mailed invitation, yes.
At no time would you get an email from the census, period.
No, not unsolicited, not unless you're working with someone about an issue. But anything unsolicited, no.
Attorney General, do you mind asking, have there been examples of census fraud that you are aware of that you have heard from your constituents?
Well, not yet, but I'm anticipating next week they'll start trickling in, maybe pouring in.
But in the past, has this been an issue here, and what are some examples of what you've heard?
Well, so the last time this happened was 10 years ago. I wasn't Attorney General. The internet was, and scamming on the internet was not as robust as it is today. So we expect this will be unprecedented, is our expectation. We're getting, all of us in Maryland, around the country, are getting billions of robocalls, scam calls, emails, and the numbers, if you look back historically, just a very steep curve going up. So we expect this is a vehicle where people know the government is going to be contacting them. It's very easy to impersonate the government, especially if they can't see them on the phone, via email. And I think, I hope I'm wrong, but I think there are going to be many, many attempts to steal the identity, to steal the money of Marylanders in the course of the census.
Is there some fear, though, because of that so many people will just shy away from actually wanting to do it because they're...
Sure.
Yes, that's a major concern of ours with all the publicity the census has gotten and some of this concern, yes. And to answer your question more specifically, we've heard reports from other parts of the country where census people have gone to, not census people, but people have gone to houses posing at the census asking for money. So that's not, the census people will never ask for money. So we just want to make people aware of these possibilities out there.
Is there a certain group of people that they would be targeting, or something that would make them stand out that these scammers would try to laugh, or is anybody pretty much at risk?
I mean, I think the answer is it's pretty much the target that all the other scammers have. Senior citizens are always a target in large part because that's where the money is. But folks who perhaps don't have English as their first language, anybody that is vulnerable in any way, likely to be the ones that these folks will target. But I think they'll be, I think everybody in the state needs to be on their toes, aware of what's going on.
2 points on that. I think that it probably would be, and I'm not an expert, it would probably be more of a broad attempt to get everybody. I can't tell you how many times I've received messages about, how I'm going to be arrested if I don't pay this, that, or the other. So it's kind of one of those things. The second thing would be, in order to make yourself feel secure, in order for us to be secure as citizens, as respondents, rather, to the census, do it online. That way, you don't have to worry about a phone call. You don't have to worry about someone knocking on your door. Do it online. Do it on phone. If you are a respondent with some language needs, I believe there are 15, 17 different languages by phone. We can do the census for you. So if we use those methods, it hopefully would cut out a lot of the potential scamming. Just a thought on that.
Just on that point, a lot of seniors will be getting this postcard this week with a link to a site where they can fill out the information. And there's a lot of concern of whether they'll be comfortable with that process. And one thing AARP is doing is working with senior centers and libraries around the state to have volunteers work with people to help them complete the census information. So that's one of our priorities. We encourage other volunteers that might want to help to get involved in that project too. I also want to mention there is this initial mailing of the postcard with the link, but there will also be 4 other contacts with the public to try to get them involved in the process if they choose not to get involved in the first contact. So it's going to be important that people take advantage of that at some point. And the last step along the way, I think, is an enumerator visit to the person's house.
Correct. After 5 mailings, the last 2 would actually include a paper form, the old type form. If after that there is not a response from that address, we would be sending out an enumerator to knock on the door to verify the address, to try and get the census information that we all need to make sure that everyone gets counted.
And they'll have a badge.
And that, yes, they will have a badge, as we alluded to, the photo, expiration date, name, phone number on the back, also which is the same phone number that we've been mentioning here.
Anybody else?
There's some kind of safeguards for the online. Can people still write someone else's name in and kind of fraud with adding extra people's names, saying, "Oh, this is my address."
Well, the interesting thing with the census is it is a self-response, and we trust our citizens to respond as they should, and be truthful as they should. We have a very large department at the Census Bureau in Suitland that actually goes through the responses and matches them up. If someone's trying to kind of cook the books and add numbers of people that live in a particular area, we're going to find that the actual respondent is going to file as well. So then we have the issue of, okay, so we have two responses, and then that's what this department does. It takes that and kind of figures out through a lot of different methods, what is the accurate response.
You just have a sample of the postcard that we're all putting in?
No, I do not. unfortunately, I guess I'm not at a level to where I was privy to that. So,
We do have a questionnaire, the census form.
Yes.
I just want to ask, any more questions? I think one of the things I want to mention that we keep running into ARP with our 900,000 members across the state, we have meetings, is there's a lot of concern about government and what will happen with that information, and how do you restore confidence in people that that information is going to be confidential and not used for other purposes?
we just keep mentioning that we are bound by Title 13. The information on the census is confidential and sealed for 72 years, which I believe at some point in time was someone's estimate of what a generation would be. Because we know that there may be some folks in the room here who do a little genealogy. So one of the things that we say to respondents to do the census is go ahead and do it for your unborn grandchildren, so they can look back and see.
Por ahí a toda nuestra gente de Quepachagua y toda la gente que ve siempre nuestras transmisiones, ¿tienen algunas preguntas?
Penalties for each of us census employees, 5 years in prison, $250,000 penalty. So it is an oath. We take an oath. It's an oath for life. The census takers take that. It's important when we're doing training. We talk about that extensively in our trainings, about what that really means and the civic responsibility of employees of the census actually going out and getting the information from respondents. So, someone answered your question.
And if a person doesn't complete the information, is there a fine or anything?
No, there is no fines for that.
Any other questions?
Aside from what you've already mentioned, are there any other risks, particularly to seniors, in these years? Or reasons why they would be more vulnerable? Aside from not being comfortable with the online and maybe having more money, are there any other vulnerabilities for seniors?
Nothing other than just the average everyday, scammer in the community. Interestingly, a lot of our employees are seniors, and we greatly appreciate the effort and the contribution that they're giving back to the community in that regard. But I'm not aware of any additional.
No, it's basically wealth. Wealth and the potential for confusion. That's seniors are the preferred target for scammers across the world.
Sorry if you mentioned this before. Is there a deadline, or what is there a deadline to submit your answers?
There is not a deadline per se. The collection of the non-response follow-up, where folks are going out, would probably end somewhere in late July, depending upon the online and phone response. If everybody does it online and by phone, then there are not very many people knocking on doors. So. But no deadline.
I did want to mention that ARP is having a teletown hall Thursday night about the census. Brian's on it, and somebody from the census will be there. You can call it with phone calls and ask questions, and this is our information, and somewhere around here there's a phone number.
No, what you do is you register, there's a link there to register to participate in the town hall, so you're opting into the phone call, and then you'll get that phone call about 5:55 on Thursday evening.
So Brian will be on it, and the census people, and that's a great way to answer specific questions about the census.
And that's where we'll be taking public Q&A.
I did want to introduce our state director, Hank Greenberg. State director, I'll be there. Thank you all very much. We'll be here if you have any questions. Thank you. And there's refreshments.